Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are going to be playing with compound movement. We're going to mix things up, starting with a brisker, faster paced movement to build up heat and warm up the muscles, then slowing the movement down, looking for control, looking for strength, looking for conditioning. As always, play when you're comfortable, modify where you need to, pause the stream when you need to take a rest. You ready? Let's get started. We're going to set up standing more or less in the middle of the mat. Let's get the feet going, then we'll add the hands. You're going to take a step side to side. So just floating one leg out to the side and then tapping it back to the center line. Once you've got the legs going, you're going to add the hands. You're going to start with the arms more or less in line with your shoulders, and you're going to swim them out, froggy style, to the side, syncing your leg movement and your hand movement. Trying to keep your movement brisk so that you get the heart rate going. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. You're going to give me a modified jumping jack. You're just going to give me an angel sweep of the arms up and down, and you can float onto the tips of your toes at the same time. Think angel wings. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to come back to that little step. You're going to step to the side, sit down in the chair. Take a step to the side, sit down in a chair. And you can give me stacked forearms. Taking one step to the side, and then sitting down in a chair, bumping the weight back into your bum and your heels. You can keep your feet tracking in a soft parallel line, or you can allow them to splay softly out at 45 and take a little bit more of a wider stance if you find that that works for you. With your stacked hands, push down with the top hand and push up with the bottom hand. Keep your breath flowing. Sync your movement to your breath. Don't hold the breath. Let's do 2 more sets, and then we'll come back to those little angel wings. Last set. Floating up onto the toes as you angel sweep those arms up and down. Five, 4, 3, 2. Last one. All right, we're going to change the leg line. You're going to give me 2 steps to each side. Get the feet going first. 2 little steps to each side. All right, once you've got those going, you're going to add a little fly. So pretend that you're holding a dumbbell in each hand and you're floating them up, almost like a little bug deploying its wings. Keeping a little bend in the knees, belly button fused to spine as you play. Make sure that your movement is nice and brisk. Let's do 1 more to each side, and then we'll change our orientation on the mat and we'll set ourselves up towards the top end of the mat. You're going to give me a little marching man up and down, pistoning the arms at the same time that you're lifting and lowering through the legs. Thinking knee to belly button. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. The last one, you're going to give me a lunge back, alternating left and right. And you can give me a soft knee on the back leg as you step back, almost as if you wanted to tap that back knee to the floor. Don't forget to keep your breath flowing. Alternating, stepping one leg back at a time. Keeping a soft knee on the back leg. One more step back to each side. Then we'll come back to that little standing march. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. From here, you're going to step down into a high kneeling frame and you're going to alternate stepping up one leg at a time. You can keep your hands stacked or tucked behind your head. If you find that this is too much for you, you can modify the movement and just give me a little good morning, bumping the weight softly back into your bum and your heels. Hands either behind your head or stacking one forearm on top of the other. Otherwise, you're going to keep stepping up one leg at a time. Hands are either stacked in front of you or tucked behind your head in a surrender-like fashion. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll roll it down from parallel. Last one. Come to a parallel standing frame. Feet stacking underneath your hips. Tuck your tailbone under. Pull your belly button in. Start with your chin line parallel to the floor. Take a big breath in and use the whole exhale to round out your belly and peel down one vertebra at a time. Use that same hollow frame to peel back up to your start position. Make sure that you're syncing your movement to your breath. Use the whole exhale to come down. Take a recovery inhalation. And then use the whole exhale to peel back up. Finding a moderate rhythm, but making sure that you're not losing control through the core and the spine as you articulate up and down. All right, one more to come down and we'll ease our way into a plank hold. So as you fold forward, soften through the knees if you need to. Connect your hands to the mat, step back into a plank and hold strongly, pushing the mat away, body line nice and parallel to the floor. Bracing your core, bracing the tops and the back of your thighs. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Ease your way into a 4-point kneeling frame from here. Check that your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Don't drop your head. Give me a long line through the neck and the spine. Tabletop through the back, nice and straight. Belly button firmly pulled into center. Peek over your left shoulder for your tailbone. Inhale to come back. Peek over the right shoulder. Keep alternating, looking over a shoulder, keeping your back line as straight as you can and your belly button softly pulled into center as if you were trying to fuse your belly button to your spine. Sync your movement to your breath, exhaling as you peek over the shoulder and then inhaling to transition. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We're going to bring it to pregnant cat, focusing on your lower belly area. Keep the tabletop line, so the shape of your back doesn't change. You're going to just play with the lower belly. Focus on your belly button, make it soft. Allow your lower belly to gravitate towards the floor and then suck it up. Belly relaxes and then suck it up. So it's a small, subtle movement. You're not going to see much happening. Focus on relaxing your lower belly and then sucking it gently up as if you were trying to fuse your belly button to your spine. Make sure that you're not dropping your head through your tabletop line. Last one. From your tabletop line, float the right arm out in front of you so that it's framing your ear on the right, and then tap the fingertips to the floor and back up. Not collapsing your frame, so keeping a strong frame on the 3 points of contact on the mat. 10 little taps up and down. Then ease your way back to 4-point kneeling. Float the left leg out behind you. Bring the leg up in line with your hip and give me 10 soft taps up and down, trying to keep your frame as steady as you can. Once you've done 10 taps, you're going to ease your way back to your tabletop line. You're going to float the left arm up in line with your left ear and then begin tapping the left fingertips to the mat and back up. Palm facing in to the center line. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Find your 4-point kneel. Slide the right leg behind you. Keep steady through the hips and the shoulders as you begin tapping out. So you're not popping and rotating through the hips. You're keeping your frame steady. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, we're going to combine opposite arm and leg. We're going to do left leg, right arm, coming into extension in unison, and then tapping to the mat in unison and coming back to your start position. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, let's change sides. Find your position on the mat first. Make sure that you're keeping your weight distribution equal on the 2 points of contact and that you're trying to keep steady through the shoulders and the pelvis. So trying not to pop and rotate. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Come back to your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat and drop down onto the right elbow, rotating the hand in towards the center line. We're going to work glutes. You're going to give me a soft spider fingertip on the left, and you're going to begin hovering the left knee off the floor, driving the heel up towards the ceiling as if you wanted to kick and come back to your float position. Stopping when the 2 knees are alongside each other, so not pulling the knee in through the 90 line. I'm going to call that 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, you're going to end with the knee alongside each other, lift the knee out to the side in a little fire hydrant, and then float back to your start position. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to end high, pulse the heel in towards the center line and float back. So moving parallel to the mat, left to right, right to left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. You're going to trace a big circular pattern with the knee, maybe tracing around the circumference of a small soccer ball. Shooting for between 5 and 10 revolutions in one direction, and then changing it up and moving in the opposite direction. Once you've done 10 in each direction, you're going to drop, come back to 4-point kneeling, and you're going to set up your frame on the other side, dropping down onto the left elbow, bringing the arm in. My back will be towards you on this one. You're going to start by hovering your right knee just off the floor. Then think of kicking your heel up towards the ceiling and coming back down to your start position, stopping when the two knees are alongside each other, keeping that right knee hovering off the floor. Shooting for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10 repetitions, you're going to take it into a little fire hydrant, starting with the knees alongside each other and then floating up your bent leg out to 90 and bringing it back to your start position. Keep your belly button firmly pulled into the center line the whole time that you're playing. You're going to shoot for 10 repetitions. You're going to end high, pulse the heel in towards the midline of the body and come back to your start position. Shoot for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10, you're going to stay high and you're going to start tracing that circular pattern with the leg. Once you've done 10 revolutions in one direction, you're going to give me 10 in the opposite. Ease your way from here back into 4-point kneeling. And then you're going to make your way onto your side. Doesn't matter which side you do first, we'll do both. You're going to extend out on the mat so that you're stacking your hips, your knees, and your feet. You're going to give me a small prop on the bottom arm, and we are going to play with the bottom arm. So we're going to play with this comfortably stacked position with your head resting in your hand, and then you're going to push off the arm and you're going to float the top arm up to the ceiling. All right, so begin by finding your stack first and get your bottom arm in position. When you feel comfortably aligned, extend the bottom arm, not collapsing through it, but almost pushing off your tricep and your elbow and try to hold and float your body off the mat for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Come back to your stack position and begin lifting and lowering the legs in unison, keeping that bottom leg hovering off the floor. So for this side series, you're trying to keep the bottom leg floating off the floor at all times. If you need to, take a rest, just ground the foot, and then when you're ready, begin floating. Come back into your side hold, bracing off the bottom arm, floating your top arm up to the ceiling, reaching long and lengthened through both sets of toes. 5, 4, 3, 2. Find your brace and then begin circling the legs together, moving in one direction as if you were using the toes to trace around a small soccer ball. Once you've done 10 traces in one direction, you're going to move in the opposite. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Come back to your hold. Extend the bottom arm, push off the forearm. Lengthen your top arm towards the ceiling. Hold for at least 10 seconds. Come back to your brace position, trying to keep the bottom leg hovering, or you can ground it into the mat if you need to. You're going to trace an L shape on the top leg, bringing the foot in front of your nose and then floating up to the ceiling. trying to keep that bottom leg hovering. If you need to, you can ground it into the mat for stability. Wherever you decide to play, whether you ground it or whether you're floating off the mat, keep your belly button firmly pulled in to center, shooting for roughly 10 L-shaped traces. Once you've done your 10, you're going to roll over onto the belly. You're going to stack your forearms, rest your forehead on the back of your hands, and you're going to give me a single leg lift on the right, floating the leg up and down, not popping and rotating through the hips. So it's a small little lift. You're focusing on length through the leg, not height. You're going to give me 10 lifts, then you're going to end high and pulse for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Float softly back down and repeat on the left. 10 lifts up and down. Pretending somebody's standing behind you, gently tugging on the toe. Draw up from the kneecap along the quad, the hamstring and the glute to make the leg float up and then soften to come down. Once you've done 10 lifts, you're going to end high and pulse for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Float softly back down to the mat. You're going to lift both legs in unison, up and down, keeping your forehead on the back of your stacked arms so that your neckline stays in neutral. Drawing up from the kneecaps along the quad and the hamstring to make the leg float up, shooting for 10 lifts. Once you've done 10, you're going to end high and pulse for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Float the legs softly down and extend the arms out in front of you, palms facing down towards the floor. Connect your forehead to the mat. Keep your forehead on the mat as you lift and lower the right arm 10 times. It's not a big movement. Once again, it's more about extension through the limb than height. You're essentially replicating your leg movements. Once you've given me 10, you're going to end high and pulse for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Float softly down and replicate on the other side, lifting the arm up and down, keeping your forehead softly connected to the mat and working with control through the shoulder girdle. Keeping your palm facing down towards the mat. Once you've done 10 lifts, you're going to end high and pulse for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Float softly back down to the mat. You're going to lift both arms together and float back down, keeping your forehead softly connected to the mat. Shooting for 10 double lifts. Once you've done 10 repetitions, you're going to end high and pulse for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. You're going to bend the elbows and place the palms alongside your bosom. We're coming into some cobra play, focusing on strengthening and conditioning the back. Don't V your elbows out. Keep them tucked in towards the center line as you play. Find an imaginary marble underneath your nose. Begin rolling it away. Start peeling up slowly, one rib at a time, and stop with your bottom ribs still grounded into the mat. Drop the shoulders away from your ears and try to focus on using your back strength and not so much your glutes to hold that frame. Trying to almost grow from your mid-back towards the nape of your neck, not throwing the head back and bunching through the shoulders, but trying to lengthen through the spine as much as you can, keeping your gaze down on the mat. Float softly back down to the mat and retuck that marble underneath your nose, taking some recovery breaths. We're coming back up into Cobra, and we're going to use no hands. So you're going to find that little marble underneath your nose. You're going to peel up, and using just your strength of your back, You're going to hold the baby cobra line as you float your palms off the mat, almost thinking of rotating the elbows in and trying to tap them in towards the center line. Keep your legs soft and relaxed in parallel behind you. Peel your way softly back down to the mat and extend the arms long and lengthened at your side, palms looking up towards the ceiling. Find that little marble underneath your nose. Peel the marble away. Keep the arms long and lengthened, but hover them just off the mat behind you as if you were setting up a locust line, but the feet are still soft, relaxed, and connected to the mat behind you. Once more, focusing on back extenders to hold the frame. Softly peel back down to the mat. Take a recovery breath. We're coming into a full locust hold from here. Find that little marble underneath your nose. Start peeling up, and at the same time, hover your arms and your legs off the mat, coming to rest on your lower belly and the two hip bones as you hold an almost U-shaped frame through the spine. Keep reaching long and lengthened through your fingertips and your toes. Then gently peel back down to the mat. Bend your elbows and push back into child pose. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out. Just take a little recovery stretch here, maybe walking back through your hands, sinking your bum bones back as far towards your heels as you can, before gently flipping over and setting yourself up for that side work on side 2. Find your stack on the mat. Make sure that your hips, knees, and feet are stacked. Find your small prop first. Once you've got it, float your feet and then extend your bottom arm, pushing off the elbow and trying to almost float your tricep off the floor as you come into a soft hold for 10 seconds. Preferably the top arm reaching long and lengthened for the ceiling, or you can keep that prop on the mat if you need to. Come back to your small prop and begin lifting and lowering the legs in unison, trying to keep the bottom leg floating off the mat. 10 little repetitions. Come back to your extended hold. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Come back to your braced position and begin circling the legs in unison, almost using the toes to trace a little circular pattern, but don't rush through the movement. Inhale for half, exhale for the other half, shooting for roughly 10 revolutions in one direction and then changing it up and moving in the opposite. Keeping those toes long and lengthened. Last one, you're going to come back to your hold, holding for 10 seconds. 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Trying to keep the bottom leg hovering or grounding it into the mat if you need to, as you think of tracing an L-shape pattern through the top leg. Whether you ground it or whether your leg is floating, keep drawing softly up along the inner thighs and feel that strong pull up from your pubic bone towards your belly button line. Let's do 2 more. Last one. As you complete your last one, you're going to roll over onto your back. And just give me one rock up to end in a seated position. We're going to play with some seated roll downs, and we'll mix it up today. If you know that your mat is too thin, you have a sensitive spine or pronounced curvature of the lower back, use a little bit of padding, support your lower back. All right, let's mix it up. Let's start with an extended leg roll down, and then we'll take it into a one-legged roll down. You're going to sit up nice and tall with your feet in a parallel line. Float the arms out in front, palms looking into the center line with a soft brace into the feet. Start nice and tall with your shoulders stacked over your hips. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, nod your chin to your chest, rounding out your belly, looking towards your belly button as you peel down with control. Brace through your feet, draw up along the inner thighs, look down towards your belly button and peel back up to your start position. Shooting for at least 5 roll downs from the parallel line, finding a rhythm of your own and remembering to keep looking in towards your belly button and not up towards the ceiling. Then after your 5th one, you can change it up, bending one leg and hovering the other one off the floor in its extended line as you roll up and down. Shooting for 5 single leg roll-ups on one side. Once you've done 5, you're going to come back to your double leg line and give me 5 doubles. I'm setting a moderate pace, but you are more than welcome to move at a brisker or a slower pace if you prefer, but make sure that you're controlling your ascent and your descent through the core and the spine. Once you've done 5 doubles, you're going to come back to a single on the opposite side, floating up and down, bending and anchoring through one leg and floating and hovering through the other side. You're going to end on the back after your last one. If you do have padding underneath the back, just surreptitiously wiggle it out and make sure that you lie comfortably on your back. Bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet to the mat as if you were sitting up a bridge line. Start with the arms long and lengthened at your side. From your neutral spine position, take a big breath in. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position so that your lower back imprints. Scoop to peel up and come up just off center to the right, holding for as long as you've got exhale. Inhale to float back down and exhale to come up on the left. Inhale to float down. Come up in the middle between your thighs. Inhale to float down. Come up in the middle again, but this time at about knee height. Let's run through that sequence again. Big breath in. Come up on the right. Float back down, fill up. Come up on the left. Peel back down. Come up in the middle between your thighs. Come up in the middle again at about knee height. Reaching along and lengthen through your fingertips. One more set. Come up on the right. Peel back down, fill up. Come up on the left. Peel down, fill up. Come up between your thighs. Peel down, come up between the knees, so just a little bit higher. Peel back down to the mat. We're going to work a modified tailbone lift. Keep your hands at your side or tuck your hands palms down underneath the bum for support. Start with your feet softly connected to the mat. Then tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Start drawing your knees up towards your nose and just lift your tailbone off the mat and then softly reconnect your feet. So I want you to feel quite a strong contraction in the lower belly area, and all of the work should be felt quite aggressively south of the belly button as you almost think of forming a shrimp-like shape, drawing your knees in as if you were trying to tap your knees towards your nose and lift your tailbone off the mat. Shoot for 10 repetitions or as close to 10 as you can manage. Last one. From here, we're going to set up a single leg stretch. You're going to draw your legs into table. You're going to scoop to peel up. Keep your left leg in table and extend the right leg, bracing your outside hand against the shin bone and the inside hand against the knee. Keep that scooped frame and piston the legs in and out, bending one leg and extending the other. Exhaling as you tap the foot to the wall and then inhaling to transition. 4, 3, 2, last one. Float down to the mat. Keep your legs in a tabletop position. Brace softly into your heels. Drop the heels halfway down and pull back up to your start position, focusing on that little tug in the lower belly area on the pull back and the drop down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. End with your legs in table, but soften the foot line. Keep your feet and your knees softly clipped together and use the knees to trace a circle clockwise and then anti-clockwise as if you were tracing the circumference of a tennis ball. Don't rush through the movement. Inhale for half, exhale for the other half. Shooting for at least 5 repetitions. So 1 revolution in each direction completes 1 repetition. Once you've done 5 in each direction, you're going to come to a double leg stretch, ending in tabletop, scooping to peel up off your shoulders and bracing softly on your shins. Then keep that scoop position as you open the arms and legs into a V and tuck back in. Stay here, extending and tucking, or add more movement by swimming the arms around before you tuck back in. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Float back down to the mat. Find your tabletop line, brace into the heels, drop your heels halfway down and draw back to your start position. Shooting for 10 repetitions. Just dropping halfway down through the heels and then pulling back, feeling that draw along the inner thighs and quite a bit of work south of the belly button. Once you've done 10 halfway drops, you're going to change it up, soften through the foot line, and start tracing that little circular pattern through the knees, keeping the knees and the feet softly together along the midline of the body as you trace side to side, keeping your hands long and lengthened at your side or tucking them underneath your bottom if you need some additional support for your lower back. Once you've done 5 sets, we're going to work a scissoring action. You're going to think of giving me an L shape through the legs, either small little V between the legs or a wider shape, and you're going to scoop to peel up so that you can hold onto the back of the nearest leg as you scissor in. If you're feeling tender, keep your movement small. If you're feeling strong, you can give me a nice wide range of motion. Exhaling as that leg comes in and then inhaling to transition. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Tuck back into your table, brace into your heels, drop your heels halfway down and draw back to your table position. Try not to tense through the neck and your jawline and your chin. Try to keep them soft and relaxed. Try to keep the work in your core. Once you've done 10 drops, you're going to soften through your foot line and start circling out, tracing the circumference of a tennis ball clockwise and anti-clockwise, shooting for 5 sets. I'm moving at a moderate pace. Find the pace that you feel comfortable with today. Once you've done 5 sets, 1 in each direction, you're going to extend the legs up to the ceiling, dropping down to 75 or all the way down to the floor before you pull back to your start position. So either playing small or playing big, keeping the hands soft and relaxed at your side, or maybe electing to tuck the hands palms down underneath your bottom if you feel that you need just a little bit of support for your lower back. Make sure that you're using those inner thighs, using the abs to drop, and more importantly, to pull back to your start line. Once you've done 10, you're going to find your tabletop brace through the heels. You're going to drop halfway and draw back. Drop, draw back. Shooting for 10 repetitions if you can manage it. Keeping the hands at your side, or maybe keeping them underneath your bottom if your back is feeling it today. Once you've done 10 drops, you're going to soften through your foot line and you're going to start tracing that clockwise and anti-clockwise pattern through the knees. Control with your breath. Don't hold the breath. Make sure that you're keeping your breath flowing. Once you've done 10 in each direction, you're going to set up your crisscross pattern, tucking the hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion. Scoop to peel up, bend one leg and extend the other as you cross over the midline of the body with the arms. And then you're going to cycle through, bending and extending through the legs as you crisscross pattern over. Don't yank on the head and don't throw your torso side to side. It's a controlled rotation through the trunk, thinking knee to opposite armpit as you play. Let's do 2 more. Then we'll use rolling like a ball to come into a boat hold. Brace softly on your shins or just behind your thighs, keeping the feet and the knees in a parallel line. You're going to rock up just off your tailbone, either grounding your feet or keeping them floating. And you're going to round out into a C-curve frame as you rock back and forth 5 times. On the 5th rock, you're going to end in a boat hold, bringing your legs into table, your weight just off the tailbone. Don't round out your spine. Now lengthen through the spine and give me more of an L shape, thinking of dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Hold for 10 seconds. Then open up the feet, coming into rocker, giving me a nice 90 behind your knees, bracing into your feet, rocking forwards and backwards 5 times. Keeping that rounded C-curve frame as you're rocking. Then come into a boat hold, straightening up your back line, Ving your legs out, holding onto the back of your thighs, drawing up along the inner thighs and the lower abs and holding for 10 seconds. Then change your orientation on the mat and come into easy sit, stacking the right leg in front of the left, sitting up nice and tall. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, just softly fold forward to maybe connect your fingertips or your palms or your forearms to the mat and just softly draping yourself forward, trying to anchor softly through the forearms if you can, and leaning back through the hips so that you can feel the activation of the front leg. Then take a big breath in, peel up, and twist softly to the right, tucking the back of your left hand on the outside of the right knee, working opposition. So pushing with the back of your hand and resisting with the knee, keeping your bum bones equally weighted. Then extend the right leg out, aim it towards the corner of your mat, and try to come back into your forward fold with the left leg bent. So either fingertips, palms, or forearms softly on the mat. Brace softly into your extended leg and keep drawing up along the inner thighs. Keeping your leg line as it is, gently walk up and twist softly to the left, tucking the outside of your right hand on the outside of the left knee. Come back to center and twist in the opposite direction, trying to tuck the outside of your left hand on the outside of the right knee, trying to keep both of your bum bones equally weighted. Then see if you can slide that hand forward, running along the outside of your leg, and overlay the other arm on top of it, trying to grasp around your foot with both hands if you can, and come into a soft forward fold, thinking of softly trying to draw your nose closer towards your knee while keeping your belly button softly pulled in to center. Then keeping this leg line, softly bend the extended front leg, reach from the inside for the arch of your foot, maybe placing your left fingertips on the floor behind you and see if you can extend the leg out. If holding onto the foot is not an option, maybe holding higher up along the chain of the leg or bending the leg and bracing behind, or taking a hand towel and placing it around the foot. Then see if you can overlay the left arm on top of the right, grasping the undercarriage of your foot with both hands. Modified heron. And then keep holding onto your left foot with your right foot with your left hand, so opposite hand to foot. And then float the right fingertips behind you, taking a soft rotational twist to the right. Ease your way from here into a little butterfly frame, bringing the soles of your feet together, hands braced on the mat behind you. Just flap the knees softly up and down, vigorously a couple of times, and then hold the stretch, tucking your heels in as close towards the perineum as you can, pushing off your hands and lengthening through the spine. We're going to repeat that little stretch sequence on the other side. Tuck back into easy sit, this time leading with the left leg in front of the right, and find your soft forward fold. Fingertips, palms, or forearms connecting softly to the mat. Make your crown heavy and just hold that little forward drape. Keeping your belly button softly pulled in to the center line. Peel up and take a soft rotational twist to the left. Opposite hand to knee, back of the hand pushing and resisting against your knee. Bum bones equally weighted, so you're not leaning aggressively off the center line. Come back to center. Extend the left leg, bracing into the heel, and then drape softly forward onto your fingertips, your palms, or your forearms. Just modifying the leg line slightly. Peel up and take a soft rotational twist to the right. Opposite hand to knee, push with the back of your hand against the knee. Try to keep both bum bones equally weighted, so don't lean aggressively into only one of the bum bones. Let's take the twist in the opposite direction. Opposite hand to leg. Push against the back of the knee with the opposite hand. And then use that line, slide forward. Cross one hand over the other. Reaching in with the palms and trying to grasp around the foot. Thinking nose to knee as you softly fold forward. Peel up along the center line. Same hand to foot. Bend the knee. Dip just off the center line, use your backhand for support, and see if you can lift and extend the front leg. Same hand to foot on the same side. Then cross over the center line. So you've got the wrists crossed and you're trying to reach for the undercarriage of your foot. And then opposite hand to foot, twist to the left, bracing your left fingertips softly on the mat behind you, keeping the weight just off the tailbone and almost an L shape on the spine, and keep pulling the belly button into center. Tuck into a butterfly line from here, soles of the feet together, vigorously flap the knees up and down, and then bring your bum and your heels as close together as you can. Push off the fingertips, drop the knees towards the floor, and hold that butterfly stretch. Then allow the feet to softly gravitate away from you. Bring your hands to prayer, drop your elbows down towards the floor, and close off your play and your work time on the mat today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Remember to share your comments below or reach out to me on social media. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. And remember to always subscribe with your notifications on. I shall see you all for yoga on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.